Good morning, everybody. This is Alan Crone, CEO of the Crone Law Firm, coming to you this morning with our regular updates on the law and COVID and quarantine, et cetera. I'm glad to be here. I'm thankful that you're watching. I'm hopeful that you and your family are well and safe. And at least here in Memphis, Tennessee, things are looking pretty good. Hopefully we can continue together to keep this virus at bay as we reopen our economy. One of the questions that I'm getting over and over and over again, and I've addressed it in these recordings before, but I thought I would come back and talk a little bit more about it, and that is the balance between coming back to work and your health. And for employers, I think it's particularly important that you communicate with past, current, and future employees as you bring people back maybe that have been furloughed, or maybe you're a restaurant and you're reopening, or you're a retail store, all kinds of different, or even a corporate office, and you're reopening and you're bringing people back in. There's a lot of fear and anxiety out there right now, both in terms of employees and customers. And employers who make it clear that they are considering their employees and customers and vendors' safety and health above their own profit margin, I think are among the people that are going to be doing well a year from now when this thing is all over. So one of the questions that I get frequently is, if I'm an employee and I'm fearful of coming back to work, do I have to come back to work? And the answer is really a mixed bag. It's not all that wonderful news. Basically, as an employee, you don't have an absolute right to refuse to come back to work and still have your job. I mean, you can certainly refuse to work in this situation, but you don't have a whole lot of job protections unless, and this is where I think employers, entrepreneurs out there really need to do your homework and due diligence. Unless you have a claim under under OSHA, Occupational Self and Health Administration, for an unsafe work environment. And that's going to be a very fact-intensive, case-by-case analysis. But employers should follow the CDC guidelines, make sure you're complying with all OSHA guidelines specific to your industry, and follow the governor's and local return to work orders in guidelines, because those guidelines are set or an expression of public policy. And many states, including Tennessee, have public policy exceptions to employment at will, where someone is fired for refusing to participate in or remain silent about illegal activity or activity that violates public policy. So there are a large number of OSHA complaints coming out of this, as well as code enforcement and health department complaints. Excuse me. So employers have to be careful and acknowledge that. And basically the core of all of this is social distancing, 6 feet, masks, sanitizing, and keeping people from bunching and clumping. That's a legal term, keeping people from bunching and clumping together. Now, specific industries, specific businesses have their own unique guidelines, and you need to follow those as well. And if you have questions, that's certainly something that I'd be glad to help everybody with. But there are plenty of folks out there that can help you with that. The other is, if someone has a particular disability under the Americans with Disabilities Act, this coronavirus situation may require you to have a conference and discuss reasonable accommodations and have an interactive process between the company and the employee to discover whether there's a particular accommodation that can solve any potential problem that an employee with a disability might have. The disability might be a physical one, that some of the new restrictions that have been put into the workplace impair the person, and there may need to be a workaround. Or if the person is particularly susceptible to COVID-19 or has some sort of pre-existing condition, then there may be interactive process that could come up with a compromise that would be a reasonable accommodation for that person. So you want to take every situation on a case-by-case basis. As I've said many times, we've heard that we're all in this together, and we really are all in this together. We're also going to get out of this together, and part of that is that workers and employees and executives, entrepreneurs, and business owners need to work together to create safe workplaces, both for work and for commerce, so that employees and customers are safe. So I hope that helps shed some light on that issue, and I hope everybody's going to do well. I'm also excited to announce a new feature of these broadcasts. We're doing a segment called Ask Alan. Now, those people who know me know that you can ask me any question and I'll have an answer for you. I don't know that it's going to be the right answer or an answer that you'll agree with, but what we'd like for you to do is to send a question in for me to answer. It can be about the law, employment law, business law, commercial law. It can be any area of the law, or it can be something completely non-law related. Who's the best Memphis basketball player? Which is the greatest Memphis team ever? Wet or dry rub barbecue? Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, which is better? Of course, I mean, that's silly. It's Memphis, much better. So any question at all, send it in. I'll do my best to answer it, and we'll answer it in this space or other spaces as we go forward. Just something fun to keep the party going, and so that we're not just all talking about COVID-19 all the time. All right, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody out and about in Memphis over the next few weeks, and I'm hoping and praying that you stay safe, and I'm hoping and praying that we find a cure for this bad boy, or we find a way to live with it so that the vast majority of people can stay safe and healthy, and the folks that are hurting financially can get back on their feet. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless you.